Hey everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. It's Wednesday and today we're doing our Stepped It Up stamping project. If you remember, on Monday I did the simple stamping where we put together this quick and easy card with just paper, inks, and stamps. And today we're going to make this one. So as you can see, I've changed out my cardstock color. This one was on black, this one's going to be on the Balmy Breeze, which is a new blue. We're using that same DSP, but instead of using the butterfly piece as our main, I'm using the gingham instead. I've flipped the card, so my small section is at the top now. Okay, and then we're going to trim out a butterfly as our stepped up element and pop that up on some dimensionals. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here are my project pieces. So I have a piece of that Designer Series paper and I'm going to cut that butterfly out of it to use on the card. Then I had a piece of 4x4 paper. Okay, but I cut it down to 3 3/4 and got my 3/4 piece for the inside. Remember, we used that on Monday for the inside. So we're just going to start by putting this piece of gingham on the front of our card. Remember I talked about spacing, so just check your spacing. Make sure you're even on the sides and on the bottom. Okay, this time I'm going to use a 1-inch piece of basic black, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to stamp first. So on this one, instead of the Life is Grand with You sentiment, this one I'm using the Make-A-Wish, which comes from that same stamp set. So I'm just going to ink this up. Now you see how I'm inking it? I put my stamp down and I'm putting my ink pad to it. Sometimes with these smaller ink pads, I find I have more control of getting the ink spread evenly. So there's a little tip for you. Alright, now I can see through my block, so I'm just going to position my stamp on my card and stamp down where I want it. Perfect. Okay, so now I have my 1-inch piece. Now I could go all the way across and trim it off, but I think I like it trimmed up neater. So I'm going to bring in my trimming paper trimmer, and I know my paper is 4 inches across, so I'm going to trim this at 4 inches. Just like that. And so now we'll add that as a banner across the top. Now, why didn't I put this on and then stamp? Because depending on where you stamp, you might not get it as close to the top as you want. You've got this extra space to kind of work with. So, stamp and then put your band on. Okay, another thing too is, with the band, say you stamp down lower, you could just overlap on your gingham more, or you can bring it right up underneath. So I'm going to bring it up right up underneath, and just going to center that like that. Okay, so there's the front. Now the inside, I'm just going to layer this. Now this is a blue card. It's kind of light, so you wouldn't necessarily have to line it. I just find that lining cards when they're not white is kind of a nice step up for the card, and since this is a stepped up card, I figured we would go ahead and line it. And then I'm going to use that 3/4 inch strip that I cut from the front piece, and I'm just going to use that on the bottom. Okay, so there's my inside. So now what's left? The butterfly. Alright, so take out your paper snips and trim out your butterfly. Now you're going to see I'm not worried about getting right up on the line. I'm kind of leaving a blue edge on my paper as I go around, and I love the feel of the paper snips on the paper. They kind of, it's like melted butter on a hot knife, right? It's nice and easy. They go work right around your image. I just keep trimming, right? I don't have to snip, snip, snip. I can just roll the paper in my hand as I'm going around. Right, open them, and just kind of let them rock closed. And I'm just coming around. So I'm giving this butter kind of a blue halo as I go. So I'm not worried about getting it perfectly trimmed out like we do with our framelets or whatnot. I'm just freehanding that. Now, that butterfly I'm going to pop up on a couple of dimensionals. So put one on each side. And then that butterfly is going to become the focal point of our card. So, still pretty easy, right? We just stepped it up a little bit. So on Monday we did these cards here, and then today we've done these cards. So really similar, kind of using the reverse set, and we've used our DSP to create our focal point instead of stamping a focal point. So use that designer series paper any way you want to. So there you go, there's our stepped up project. Friday I'm going to have an over the top project for you, and I'm going to tell you now, it's pretty cool. I'm using it for a demo swap with some demonstrators, and I'm really kind of outdid myself with the embellishments, so I hope you're going to enjoy it. Alright, thumbs up, comments below, check out the blog, leave me some comments there as well, let me know you're enjoying it, and I'll see you on Friday. Go do some fun stamping. Bye-bye.